I have a question on the coronavirus and you can make it a short answer. I just wondered, there's been so many theories and conspiracy theories on the origin of the virus. So I wonder if you know anything about that, both the physical origin and the chemical origin. So do you know anything about that?
Well, that's certainly a I hear an echo. Let me see if I can stop that. Okay, thank you. Well, the karmic origins. Perhaps the short version would be to say that, obviously humanity has evolved in a direction on this planet at this time where we're fairly out of harmony with nature. So we're increasingly experiencing a kind of feedback process where nature is reacting back again, and kind of, it's not like, nature's upset and is striking back. It's more like a reflection of our own state, where we're experiencing a mirroring from nature of the implications of our own disharmony with nature. And I think, there's a variety of different ways that that's arising. Say, for instance, issues with ecology are certainly a key aspect of that. And so both kind of more immediately in our environment, things like climate change, but also more internally, our psychological states. I think a lot of people are experiencing an increasing amount of internal disharmony, and some of that's their own personal karmic situation and state of mind, but some of it is also just the collective state of consciousness in the world that's the result of this style, our lifestyle, our civilization, how we handle things like technology, how we relate to each other, how we relate to nature. It's causing each of us to be more and more challenged by stress and discord internally and externally. So in that context, to me, the coronavirus is a manifestation of that larger situation, and its immediate roots are in the immediate current situation and in the centuries of disharmony that the modern industrial civilization expresses, the ways in which we've kind of misapplied technology, and not to mention how we relate to each other and so on. But it, of course, goes back more anciently, just into a deep history. And of course, as somebody who is sensitive to this, ancient planetary event, some of it is ultimately rooted, in a certain deep, essential way. It's rooted in the ancient planetary disaster that we speak of. So, yeah, I know that there's also conspiracy theories around with regard to sort of other ways of looking at, where it came from. Ultimately, though, even then, even if there's any kind of truth to some of those, ultimately, I would still see it rooted more deeply in just the patterns that I was just describing, as opposed to anything more specific than that. Does that make sense? Let me unmute again. Or is there anything more specific? Yeah.
Yes, yes, it makes sense. I was maybe wondering if you had any knowledge about whether it came directly from nature into maybe human beings, or it sort of is human-made from some kind of laboratory or something like that. That's the first idea mostly.
Mm-hmm. I don't have. Oh, there we go. nothing on a more intuitive level except for the gut feeling that, you know, if this was something that was sort of more like biologically engineered, one's tempted to imagine that one could have thought up a better, more dangerous virus. This is a very tragic thing, but it could be much worse. We've had pandemics in the past that, you know, like the bubonic plague, that were much more devastating. So if that was the intention, wasn't maybe you could sort of make the argument that it wasn't a very well-designed one, if you're trying to wreak havoc or damage a culture or something like that. But no, nothing more specific than that. My intuitions tend towards more sort of like a natural response from nature that, you know, is kind of along the lines that I described.